didn't take long for members of Stop the Steal to allege voter fraud in the recent elections. On Tuesday, Democratic Governor Andy Beshear won a second term in the red state of Kentucky. Beshear won over Attorney General Daniel Cameron in a state where Trump won by 26 points in 2020 and where down ballot races did go for Republicans. So again, in Kentucky, red state. No one disputes that. That said, apparently the fact that a Democrat retained the governorship must be evidence of something afoot, at least according to Women for Trump head Amy Kremer, who posted on the platform formerly known as Twitter, X, quote, "I've heard a couple of different reasons for such a difference in the vote count for governor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General." She posted, "They reelected their Democrat governor because he was an incumbent and candidates matter." Well, yes. She also added, "It's not an anti-incumbent year, but I'm not buying any of that." Oh, so these sensible reasons that, again, make sense, are backed up by historical trends and data. Nope, not buying any of it. No, something is off here. Maybe 10 years ago, those explanations would have been more believable, but not in today's world. Well, that's because in today's world, Republicans have gone crazy, off the deep end with allegations of voter fraud every time a Democrat wins. I mean, that's it. That's what's going on. That's what's different than 10 years ago. At least 10 years ago, you had Republicans that were like, "Oh, wow, Democrat won? Well, that sucks for us. We need to do something different." Now it's just like, "Oh, a Democrat won? Voter fraud." What do you mean? It's a blue state, blue district. Voter fraud. Voter fraud. Okay. So look, here's the thing though. Beshear is one of the most popular governors in the country. He's got 60% approval. He even has 41% approval among MAGA guys. Again, that's the highest for any Democratic governor in a red state. That generally means people like him. I know, right? So why is this surprising at all? Well, it shouldn't be if you actually ever paid attention to how people vote. That said, Kremer, well, she's not buying it. In fact, she said this: "There's no way this many Republicans voted for a Democrat governor." Oh, really? Really? You sure? "It's not plausible. On the other hand, there's no way that Democrats voted for a Dem governor and voted for a Republican Secretary of State or a Republican Attorney General, or that they voted for the re-election of the governor but didn't vote for SOS or AG. Why not? Turns out the way that people vote is actually more complicated than you would think." She then added, "The SOS controls election and the AG is the top law enforcement officer in the state. Democrats left these blank." Yeah, that does happen. Yeah, that does. She then adds, "Come on now, I was born in the morning, but not this morning." Come on, Amy. Seriously? Look, okay, well, one of the biggest things in politics, one of the biggest advantages is name recognition, okay? Now, Andy Beshear, his father is Steve Beshear, and was, again, a very popular Kentucky governor from 2007 to 2015. He actually helped attract major investment projects to the state, and now they currently have one of its highest budget surpluses ever. Not only that, but of course he helped the state manage COVID, flooding, tornadoes, and even a mass shooting. So it turns out normal people, yes, they like effective politicians and don't really care whether or not they have a D or an R next to their name. Hey, I don't care. Just do a job, right? Just help us out. Now, look, why do you think the House, Senate, and presidency change parties all the time? Okay? For example, you went from Bush to Clinton to Bush Jr. to Obama to Trump then to Biden. I mean, why? Why does that happen? Why do you oftentimes have the House and Senate belong to the opposing party of the president in the White House? No, the reason this happens is because of people think that one party is not doing something, they'll vote in the other party. And again, this is for average people that don't devote their lives to politics. And so what it comes down to is, yes, candidate quality, also name recognition, incumbency, how much advertising they get, things like that. And again, if you have an incumbent that's been doing good things, that's trying to get things done, people are going to care less about whether or not they're Democrat or Republican. Okay? Again, normal people. I'm not a normal person. I'm knee-deep in politics. Okay, people like myself are not normal. Just being completely honest with you, okay? We're nerds. Nerds who pay attention to all this stuff. But generally, normal people don't pay attention to a lot of the political races, unless, of course, they have a stake in it. People will often pay more attention to their own lives and lives of their family and friends, and really get involved if there's an issue that impacts them or their friends, or it's an issue that they care strongly about in their personal lives. That's why people get involved in politics, right? So if something, for example, a law gets passed that has an impact on them or people that they know, family, friends, etc., then they're going to get involved. They might vote based on that. Or, hey, if things are going pretty well and, my governor, whatever's got a re-election campaign that's going on, things are going pretty good for me, I'll just vote for the same person who, things are going great. Why not? Why change? Why change? Okay. But if things are not going well, they might go, maybe I'll go for somebody different this time. That's generally how normal people tend to vote. If you're not doing well economically, you might vote for the other party. That's just how it works. Or might not vote at all, too. And voter turnout is another big thing. Because, look, the less normal people turn out, the more chance you have of partisans that turn out. People who are, who show up for just about every election and will vote straight ticket all the time. Again, those people we're in the minority, okay? And you have the people that are more issue-oriented, can lean this way, that way, whatever, are motivated by single issues. I think there are far more of them than there are of, again, the people who are more partisan of either side. So there's that. And again, there's a lot of different factors, too, that I haven't discussed when it comes to voter behavior. But what I'm trying to point out is that this is kind of complicated, and you have people out there that are trying to make sense of it. Again, you have people that run political campaigns that would really love to drill down into this and find out ways to turn more people out to their side. That's the whole point of campaigns, and nobody has a real answer as to why people often vote the way they do. Again, there are questionnaires that happen after polls. What really motivated you. And look, in this recent election in Ohio, what motivated voters was an attack on reproductive freedom. So Ohio, pretty much red state, tried to limit, tried to ban abortion, and people were like, no, we're not having that. No, we believe in freedom. And so that's something that I don't think a lot of Republicans expected to happen. And we've been seeing stuff like that happen all over post-Roe. And it's something, again, they didn't see, they didn't realize. And now they're suffering at the polls because of it. So, again, if they can't see that, then there's a lot that they can't see. And so getting back to Ms. Kremer here, there's a lot that she doesn't understand about voter behavior. Yes, the things that she says actually can happen as far as, hey, people judging a candidate on quality, or this is an incumbency thing. It doesn't always come down to fraud. But that's unfortunately what people like her tend to think now. Just default to, must be fraud. I didn't get the result that I wanted. Must be fraud, must be fraud, has to be fraud. She said, I can't make this make sense, but I'm not buying what they're selling. Who's selling you anything? If I lived in Kentucky, I'd be looking down every ballot race and asking for audits in every county, especially where the totals are close. If it's legit, then the powers that be should have no problem with shining sunlight on the results. Now, look, you're thinking, okay, I guess that doesn't sound too unreasonable. Sure. What she's doing here is asking to create a whole bunch of extra work for election officials because she didn't get the result that she was hoping for. And that's what it comes down to. Look, all the audits done after 2020 and 2022 were consistently in line with the official results. There was no fraud in that election, okay? No evidence of it whatsoever. Look, if there's something off, sure, by all means, look into it, right? But the definition of something being off doesn't mean it's because the other guy won. That's basically now their only qualification to determine whether they should look into if it's a fraudulent election. Well, why do you think it's a fraudulent election? Because the other guy won. No, that's not a good excuse to go and demand recounts and audits that you're not going to be satisfied with anyway. No, what this is that you got a MAGA person who is throwing a fit because she lost. She can't make sense of it because she's in her own bubble, her own MAGA world, where it's just not, she's not in reality. She's on a completely different planet.